Hello, darlings, and welcome to CareOffBook. I'm Care Darling, and today we are talking about the musical Dreamgirls. Dreamgirls hit theaters in 2006 and caused a major stir, but honestly, it deserved to be an even bigger deal. This movie is a powerhouse, and today we're giving it the spotlight it deserves. I'll walk you through the plot, sprinkle in some juicy trivia, and of course, I want to hear your thoughts. I remember seeing this in the theaters and oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I wrote all about it in my diary. I even talked about, what was the song? Oh my gosh, the big thing was Panic at the Disco during that time. And I was like, wow, I really love them and Effie White. While Dreamgirls isn't officially a biopic, let's be honest, it's heavily inspired by the real-life story of Diana Ross and the Supremes. Dina Jones mirrors Diana Ross in so many ways, from her rise to lead singer to her polished pop image to her solo stardom, and carefully orchestrated by a controlling manager. Hello, Berry Gordy, stand in Curtis Taylor Jr. Effie White's character echoes Florence Ballard, the powerhouse voice who was pushed aside and eventually faded from the spotlight. And while the creators have always said it's fiction, the parallels to Motown are crystal clear. Dreamgirls may not say Diana by name, but the influence is baked into every beat.
And there ain't nothing I can do about it.
And by the way, hopefully it's still up, but YouTube, you can actually watch the movie for free. I try to keep it updated, but I have a playlist on this channel where I put musicals for free or just movies that I'm like, I hope you darlings get to go ahead and enjoy. So listen, you could go ahead, watch the movie, and then come back and we can discuss. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of giggling because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm so festive. Dreamgirls lighting. The movie kicks off with a high energy talent competition, and we're instantly thrown into the vibrant world of Motown style showbiz. We see group after group hit the stage, and amidst the hustle, we meet Marty Madison, played by Danny Glover, who manages the electrifying Jimmy Thunder Early. Marty's trying to wrangle two of Jimmy's backup singers, but they've had enough. Why? Well, Jimmy's not just a womanizer, he's also married.
Jimmy was just being Jimmy.
Through this, we see in the shadows Curtis Taylor Jr., played by Jamie Foxx. Now, Jamie Foxx originally declined the role because the pay wasn't good enough, so they went to Denzel Washington, and then he turned it down because he was like, I can't sing. To which, the reason why Jamie Foxx then changed his mind is because he saw that Beyoncé and Eddie Murphy were going into it. So he was like, all right, I'm back.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
Marty's striking out when it comes to finding new singers until Curtis stumbles upon Dina. And just like that, we meet the Dreamettes. Seeing these three women at the start of their careers is honestly wild when you think about where they are now. Anika Noni Rose plays Laurel Robinson, and she went on to voice none other than Disney's first black princess, Princess Tiana. Then we've got Effie White, played by Jennifer Hudson, who, spoiler alert, won an Oscar for this role. And this was her filming debut. And last but never least, Dina Jones, played by Queen Bey herself, Beyoncé. So Beyoncé went on to be Beyoncé. The Dreamettes are doing their best to get it together backstage until Urkel, yes, I know, that's Jaleel White in a cameo, but he drops the bomb that they've lost their time slot, but never fear, here comes Curtis to save the day. The catch? The girls will have to perform after the headliner, Little Tiny Joe Dixon. Now this blew my mind because Tiny is played by Michael Leon Woolley, and guess what? He's also in the movie Princess and the Frog, and he does the voice of Louis, the alligator. What? The girls are trying to stand out even by flipping their wigs.
Oh, Dina, it's so different.
You like it? It's autumn sunrise.
I also like to point out that at this point in this movie, you see that the girls are really close. And like, yes, Effie has the like powerful voice, but oh my gosh, I would want Effie as my friend because she's also the protector in a way, because there was this guy trying to like feel up on Dina. And then even with one look, like Effie was like,
I think the fuck not, you trick ass.
The Dreamettes hit the stage with Move, Move, and woo! They light up the room and the crowd is living for them. But despite their show-stopping performance, the girls don't win the competition. That honor goes to Mr. Tiny Joe Dixon. Still, the Dreamettes made their mark and Curtis definitely noticed. The girls are absolutely disappointed and okay, I'm going to be honest. I was going through stuff. Some of you who've been following my channel know what's going on as far as like my channel stuff. And so Beyonce's character Dina is like, you know, Cece, how long have you been writing your songs? And Effie, like pretty much pointing out everyone's talent and how amazing they are. And she goes, and we still not getting anywhere? Like, what's the point? And I was watching and I was like, you're right. What is the point? Curtis swoops in with a smooth pitch. What the girls need isn't just talent, it's a shot. He offers to be their manager, and while that means becoming backup singers, the Dreamettes eventually agree. Effie's not thrilled about it at first, but we can already feel the sparks flying between her and Curtis. Curtis then links up with Marty, claiming he's got the girls for him, and that's how we meet Jimmy Thunder Early, played by Eddie Murphy. Jimmy is pure charisma, and when he turns to Laurel with a sly, "What can Jimmy do for you?" she giggles back with, "You can teach us the song." Cue the catchy number, "Fake your way to the top, round and around." So here we go. The Dreamettes are on their way up. Oh my gosh, my favorite part of the song is when Jimmy's going, you know, like asking each girl to sing round and around, right? And so it's like we get Laurel and her voice is very sweet and rich. And you're like, ooh, it gets to Dina and you're like, wow, it's Beyonce, right? And then it gets to Effie. I love it so much. There were over 700 women auditioning for Effie, including Fantasia. But you know what? Jennifer Hudson, that's our girl. Jimmy and the Dreamettes hit the road and they are an absolute sensation. Crowds love them and the group is starting to rise. Meanwhile, Jimmy's still trying to charm Laurel and she's not having it, especially since, let's not forget, he's married.
Jimmy was just being Jimmy.
Jimmy's response with a wink and zero shame, he goes, "So, gonna take 2 weeks." By the way, Laurel is supposed to be 18, and even then, like later, she says she's 18, so she might not even be of age. I'm just saying, Jimmy. While the group's on tour, we see Dina trying to gently coach Effie, urging her to soften up a bit, especially since Effie clearly has eyes for Curtis. But we also learn Curtis wants someone who's more of a real woman, whatever that means. Meanwhile, Curtis brings Effie's brother, CeCe White, played by Keith Robinson, into the mix as the group's songwriter. He introduces CeCe to Jimmy and Marty and pitches a whole new sound for Jimmy. At first, Jimmy pushes back. He's all about that gritty, soulful vibe. But once he hears Cadillac Car, his tune changes. Literally. Got me a Cadillac, Cadillac, look at me, mister, I'm a star. They record Cadillac Car right there in Curtis's car dealership and bam, it's a hit. It even makes it onto the radio. It feels like the moment they've been working toward, like they finally made it. But of course, nothing's ever that simple in showbiz. Got me a Cadillac car. What is it, the ending? Look at me, mister, I'm a star.
A great big shining star!
I'll never forget when I saw the movie in theaters, everyone was yelling at the screen and I felt myself in my chair just like sinking down like, oh no, cringe. By the way, one of the girls in the car is Laura Bell Bundy.
What's up?
CeCe is furious when he realizes their hit has been stolen and re-recorded by a white group. It's just not fair. Curtis tries to explain the game, asking who sings Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, and CeCe answers Elvis, but it wasn't Elvis, not originally. That song was first recorded by Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton.
You ain't nothing but a hound.
This is the first time the film really pulls back the curtain on the racial injustice baked into the music industry of the 1950s. Curtis knows that if they want to reach white radio and truly break through, they're going to have to play the system, even if it means bending who they are. Step into the bad side, ooh, ooh, ooh. Curtis isn't just stepping to the bad side, okay? He is gliding into it with confidence. During this number, we see the shift. He's done playing nice and waiting for radio stations to maybe someday give black artists airplay. So what does he do? He starts paying off DJs, tweaking the girl's image, and straight up working with the mob and gambling. It's payola, manipulation, and calculated charm all up in a snazzy suit. I feel like this is Curtis's villain origin song, and honestly, it's slaps, but it also shows how exploitation in the music industry isn't just something that happened then. Now, here on out, Curtis Taylor Jr. is in the driver's seat, so everyone buckle up.
Put y'all seatbelts on. Psh, YOLO.
We transition to hearing Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. It's just a record, but it speaks volumes. When we hear Martin Luther King Jr.'s voice in Dreamgirls, it's not just to see the time period, it's a mirror, a reminder of what's happening outside the glitz and glamour. While the world is fighting for justice, Curtis is fighting for power, and not in a noble way. At least that's my opinion. Now I love this scene because Effie comes in. She's like, Curtis, is it fair for an amateur to have a record compared to pros?
Get in line, Effie. Wait your turn. When an amateur like Martin Luther King Jr. gets his own freaking album, can he even sing?
I mean, she makes me laugh. The song Love You I Do plays and Effie is giving me goosebumps, and we see that her and Curtis are together, but we notice that Curtis is looking at Dina in a certain way. I have a theory on Curtis. I'm going to share it later, but I'd love to know your thoughts. After the performance, Effie asks Curtis if the song will be added to the show. He says no. I mean, it stings because Curtis promised her she'd be singing lead soon, and Effie's been playing the good sport, staying in the background with the belief that her time would come. Meanwhile, Marty confronts Curtis. He heard the rumors. Curtis is shaking things up, bending rules, pulling strings, and now he's done the unthinkable. Gotten Jimmy an audition at a high-end club in Miami, a white establishment. It's a historic move not just for Jimmy's career, but for the black performers at large. Still, Marty sees the cost. Curtis is packaging a sound and a look that'll be more palatable to white audiences. To Marty, it's a sellout. He warns Curtis Jimmy is mine.
Jimmy don't belong to no.
But in this new version of Jimmy, polished and prepped for crossover success, Marty doesn't see the man he once managed. He quits, realizing you can't have it all.
I'm too old for this shit.
At the club, a comedian opens with cringeworthy, racially charged jokes before introducing Jimmy and the Dreams. They open with I Want You Baby, and things seem to be going smoothly until Jimmy, high on emotion, starts reflecting on finally being with Laurel. And from here, well, things start to unravel. I think it was more than just them sleeping together. I think Laurel actually lost her virginity.
I shall take your virginity!
And the thing with the song is that Jimmy is, feeling more soul and getting into it. And my favorite part is when he's like, I want you. Ultimately, Jimmy's bold performance is not what this white Miami audience came for, and it lands poorly. Curtis sees the writing on the wall. Jimmy's unpredictability won't work in the polished crossover image he's crafting. So he makes a big decision. It's time for the Dreams to step out from behind and become their own act. Before Curtis breaks the news, Laurel is all like, I'm a woman now.
I am a woman now.
And so when Curtis is like, hey, I'm breaking you guys up, Laurel is like,
You do because you're all jealous.
like she's having a moment, right? The girls are over the moon when they find out they're getting their own act until Curtis drops the bomb. Effie, Dina is singing lead, and Effie's like,
Dina's doing what?
Curtis chooses Dina because of her look and image. He thinks she's more of the marketable face of the group, but Effie knows the truth. She's the one with the powerhouse voice. She's been promised her time again and again, and once again, it's being taken from her. Even Cece, Effie's brother, sides with Curtis, saying this move will help them cross over to the mainstream. And once they're famous, then he'll write great songs for her. Another promise, another delay. He tries to comfort her by singing, We Are a Family, a song about unity, loyalty, and sticking together. In that moment, Cece truly believes in their bond and their dream. And for just a second, it feels like everything might still be okay. For the role of Cece, it was actually was supposed to go to Usher, but he turned it down due to, concert scheduling conflicts. And I'm actually glad that Usher did not get that role because I think I would be distracted. The Dreams make their big debut, and this number still gives me chills. From the harmonies and the glam staging, it's a moment. I mean, yes, the lighting setup is definitely giving 2006, not 1966, but honestly, I'm here for the fantasy. The look, the vibe, the sparkle, it all works. This is the girl group moment we've been waiting for. Do you guys remember the TikTok trend that they would do because of Anika? It still makes me laugh today. The Dreams are blowing up, international tours, magazine covers, the whole deal. But as their star rises, Jimmy's starts to fall. It's clear he's struggling behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Effie is feeling more and more sidelined. Curtis is all in on promoting Dina as the face and voice of the group, and it's not just professional anymore. Effie sees where his affections are shifting. While recording the song Heavy, Effie's voice, bold and unapologetic, doesn't match the soft polished sound Curtis wants. He keeps chastising her, trying to dim her light, and finally Effie breaks. I know you're sleeping with her, Curtis. I don't think Dina and Curtis are having an affair, but Effie's not wrong. Like, there is clearly something going on. As Effie storms out, chaos erupts outside, a riot in the streets. But this isn't just background noise, it's a wake-up call. While Curtis is laser focused on controlling the music industry, the world around him is literally burning. This story doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's rooted in a time of real civil unrest, when Black communities were rising up, demanding visibility, justice, and respect. The dream is cracking, and the cost of chasing fame is becoming impossible to ignore. Effie even says to Dina, "You stole my dream and my man." There's a standoff between Effie and Curtis, and in this moment, Effie finally calls it like it is. He's the one with no power here.
They expect to see 3 girls.
These people are paying to see 3 girls, but Curtis is done. As rehearsals continue, there's a haunting emptiness. Effie is gone and everyone knows it. Apparently, behind the scenes, the director was telling Jennifer Hudson to go ahead and be late as far as filming to show off her diva and like star quality. But what I find interesting about this was that Eddie Murphy was ready to leave and walk off set because of the unprofessionalism of like others. So I don't know. I think it's funny because I think Eddie Murphy is a huge star. And so the fact that like Jennifer Hudson, again, this was her film debut. This is her first movie, was doing that. I kind of find it funny and messed up at the same time. All right, now we get the best scene. Effie finally returns and the energy in the room, ooh, awkward. She walks in to find she's been replaced by Michelle Morris, the former secretary from back when Curtis was still hustling cars. And to twist the knife even more, Michelle is now dating Cece. Yep, Effie's own brother is caught in the middle. The betrayal is real and it all leads to that moment. It's all over is the breaking point. The dream shatters and the gloves come off. This number isn't just a fight, it's a full-on musical ambush. Curtis, Dina, Laurel, and even Cece confront Effie, accusing her of being impossible to work with. But Effie, she's not going down quietly. She's been betrayed by her group, her brother, and the man she loves. It all erupts, and what's wild is we're not even at the "and I'm telling you" yet. My favorite part in the song is the fact that everyone is fighting with Effie and she's fighting back, and then Michelle's like, "I don't want to stay around. I'm just trying to get in this business." Then Effie pops off at her asking, "How much did you put out to get in the group?" And her comeback is like, "Now watch your mouth, Miss Effie White." Okay, next song. And I'm telling you, isn't just a breakup song, it's a battle cry. Effie has just been betrayed by everyone she trusted. Curtis is replacing her in multiple ways, but instead of shrinking, Effie explodes. This is her refusing to be erased. It's defiant, desperate, and devastating. A woman clinging to the last shred of control in a world that's pushed her aside. Every note is a plea and a punch. She's not just telling Curtis she won't go, she's telling us she's still here and she will be heard. I remember being in theaters as the song was going and I was sobbing. And then I wrote all about it in my diary because I thought it was just so inspirational. Jennifer Hudson absolutely deserved the Oscar for that role. Something I hadn't really noticed before, when Curtis tries to push Effie out, he literally offers to buy her out. Cece even tells her to take the money and run, but Effie refuses. And honestly, that says so much about her. She's not just chasing fame, she's standing up for herself, her voice, her worth. Fast forward about 6 years, and Curtis is now a full-blown music mogul, and Dina is a superstar. There's even buzz about her playing Cleopatra in a movie, but Dina's not feeling it. She tries to speak up to say this role isn't for her, but Curtis shuts her down, telling her, "It's more than you now." Sounds familiar, right? Yep, that's the exact kind of line that everyone was telling Effie. Only this time, Dina's the one in the spotlight and starting to question if it's really worth it. Okay, so I have a theory about Curtis, and the thing is that I think Curtis is not in love with either woman. I think his true love is actually for power and his career. I've always felt that Curtis was with Effie because he saw her as the ticket to fame, power, and success. But when things didn't go according to his plan, he shifted his focus and affections to Dina. Why? Because she was the one who could make his dream come true. When Curtis sings "When I First Saw You," it really stood out to me that he's not reflecting on his relationship with Dina. He's talking about how she looked and how he felt. Even the camera imagery, I mean, it's just focusing on her modeling, her image, the fantasy, and I felt like that said it all. This isn't a love built on connection, it's built on appearance. The direction of the scene makes it clear. Curtis's love isn't deep, it's strategic. The ending of the song, I think the lyrics is, "When I first saw you, I thought, oh my, there's my dream." And it brought me back to the scene where Curtis is with Dina's mom. And this is when, you know, the dreams were being introduced as Dina is the lead singer. And Dina's mom says something to Curtis along the lines of, "Wow, you make her sound like a product." And Curtis likes that. Dina tells Curtis, "Let me have your child," but plot twist, he already has one and doesn't even know it. That's right, Effie was pregnant during all that tension. Her daughter's name? Magic. And even though Effie's struggling financially, she refuses to take a dime from Curtis or even from Cece, who's been quietly sending money. During all of this, we hear the song Patience, and in my opinion, it's one of the most powerful songs in the entire movie. This is the moment where the music finally says something real. Jimmy Early is fed up with the empty pop hits Curtis keeps pushing. This song, written by Cece, is soulful, raw, and rooted in the civil rights movement. It's a cry for justice, a call for hope. The choir swells, Laurel is radiant, and Jimmy finally feels like an artist again. But the tragedy, Curtis shuts it down, says it's too political. Keep in mind, this is during the Vietnam War. Patience deserved more, and so did Jimmy. Meanwhile, Effie reconnects with Marty, who wants to help her sing again. He arranges an audition with his friend Max, who's totally uninterested in taking on another singer. Fun fact, Max is played by Ken Page, also known as the voice of Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
You're joking! I can't believe my eyes!
When I was rewatching this scene, I did think to myself, like, Effie hasn't really changed. Like, she still is stubborn and, like, has her diva antics. But then I realized that this was the moment that Effie changed.
It's time that you stop making excuses so that you don't have to prove anything.
For the first time, someone sees Effie not as difficult, not as damaged, but as an artist with a story worth telling. Marty isn't handing her a comeback. He's challenging her to earn it by being honest. The song I'm Changing isn't just a ballad, it's Effie's turning point, her moment to evolve, grow, and reclaim her narrative. She's not asking for permission anymore. She's not singing for Curtis or for the spotlight. She's rebuilding for herself. Curtis is having a big celebration. We see Laurel finally crack. She's been with Jimmy for 8 years and he's still married.
Jimmy was just being Jimmy.
She calls him out and Jimmy brushes it off, claiming his number's coming, and it does. I Meant You No Harm is Jimmy's rare, vulnerable moment. The mask drops and we see the man underneath, someone who did love Laurel but didn't know how to do it right. The gag of it all, he's singing it to both Laurel and his wife. It's messy. Eddie Murphy was nominated for an Oscar, but he didn't win, and rumor has it that once he realized that he didn't win, he just left.
I can't do it no more.
He goes off script, off brand, and off the rails because the truth is, Jimmy's been screaming inside for years. He even takes off his pants. Curtis is having none of it, and he ultimately lets Jimmy go. Curtis isn't the only one either, because now Laurel and Jimmy are through.
I got a show to do.
So dramatic, I love it. The Dreams perform family, but it hits different now because once again, someone's about to be left behind. The group that once stood for unity is fractured.
Wow, that's wow.
We then go to the pool with Dina because she's meeting two filmmakers about a role she's genuinely excited about. It's edgier than her usual image. Less sweetheart, more serious actress. And she wants to take the risk. One of them asks if there might be a problem given rumors that Curtis has mob connections. Dina brushes it off saying there shouldn't be an issue, but we all know Curtis doesn't let go easily. Back in the music world, tension is growing between CeCe and Curtis. CeCe feels like his songs are losing their soul. Curtis just wants something that sells, disco over depth. But everything shifts when Laurel is devastated by the news that Jimmy has died of a drug overdose. It's horrific, and the way Curtis reacts? Cold. Business as usual, everyone else is grieving, but Curtis moves on, like Jimmy was just a product that stopped producing. CeCe has had enough. He quits and finds his way back to Effie. At a small gathering in memory of Jimmy, we hear a jazz singer reminiscing about him, and that's Loretta Devine, the original Laurel from the Broadway cast.
Well, it's between me two. I'm as much a part of this group as anybody else, and I'm tired. Effie, I'm tired.
A beautiful nod to the legacy of this story. CeCe finally fulfills the promise he made to his sister. He gives Effie a song, her song, one night only. It's not just a ballad, it's a showdown. Effie records the original version as a soulful, slow-burning track full of vulnerability and truth. It's her reclaiming the spotlight, this time on her own terms. But Curtis sees dollar signs, remixes it into a disco banger for Dina and the Dreams, and suddenly Effie's raw return is buried under sequins and synths. The two versions go head to head, and what should have been Effie's moment turns into another example of how the industry twists and repackages authenticity for profit. I think what's so disappointing is that Curtis is doing the same thing that happened to them when they created Cadillac Car. Curtis is still pushing that Cleopatra movie, but Dina's clearly not feeling it. When he confronts her about meeting with other filmmakers, things take a dark turn. She gently tries to tell him the truth. He's great with music, but film is a different world, and Curtis, he doesn't take that well. He tells her the real reason why he chose her to sing lead, because her voice had no personality or depth, not unless he put it in there. In that moment, it's clear he doesn't see Dina as a partner or even a person. He sees her as a product, as if she's something to be owned, molded, and controlled, and that's when Dina realizes she has to break free. The song Listen is the moment Dina finally steps out of the shadows and finds her voice. Up until now, she's been the face of the Dreams, carefully molded by Curtis to be seen and not heard. But this song is her breaking point. It's a declaration of independence, a beautifully sung no more. The song Listen wasn't originally in the Broadway show, but Beyoncé actually co-wrote the song because she felt like Dina needed her own sort of anthem song, similar to how Effie had her anthem song. Curtis finally faces his reckoning when CeCe and Marty confront him. Curtis, ever smug, brushes it off. He thinks they've got nothing, but they do. They got
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, in everything.
They have this information because of Dina. Now Dina and Effie reunite in a beautiful, quiet moment of healing. And Effie shares something she's held in for years. She had a daughter, and that the daughter is Curtis's child and he doesn't know. When Curtis does finally see Effie again, she says the best thing to him. She's like, "You're looking a little heavy, baby. You could lose some weight." I mean, iconic. It's referencing what Curtis would say to her. Now get this. Jennifer Hudson actually gained 20 pounds to play the role, and Beyoncé lost 20 pounds to play her role. And oh my gosh, who else did this? This was when, she lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks, and it was that cleanse, remember? It was like, what was it? Wasn't it like maple syrup, cayenne pepper and stuff? I remember I tried to do that. I couldn't even make it half a day. I got hungry. Please tell me I wasn't the only one. Effie is back on top with her own label and the rights to distribute One Night Only on her terms. Curtis can't stop her shine this time, and if he tries, he's looking at a trial and maybe even jail time. He's furious, but the real blow comes when Dina walks out on him too. She's done being his puppet. If Effie can start over, so can she. The film ends with a farewell concert for the Dreams, a glamorous send-off filled with sequins, nostalgia, and just a touch of sadness. Curtis may have another product on his arm, but the magic is gone. Hard to Say Goodbye is their final bow, and it's graceful and poised, but underneath, it's full of longing. They've reached the top, but they know that this is the end. For Dina, it's more than goodbye to the group. It's goodbye to Curtis, goodbye to the version of herself she's outgrown. And just when you think the curtain's falling for good, Effie walks back on stage. The original dreams are reunited one last time. It's not about reliving the past, it's about honoring it. It's a reminder that even after the spotlight fades, the story and the voices still matter. Oh, and they even do the Dreamgirls finale song. We are Dreamgirls, boy. Oh, love. Effie, Dina, and Laurel reunite on stage not as starry-eyed girls chasing fame, but as women who've lived, lost, and grown. This isn't just a farewell, it's the dream realized. Not the dream of stardom, but of sisterhood, survival, and finally being seen. And rewatching the movie, seeing Magic look at her mom as she was performing, it made me cry. I think Dreamgirls works so well as a movie musical because it understands how to move the story forward. It uses the show me technique, letting performances do the emotional heavy lifting. When Jimmy was performing in front of that audience, we're actually seeing him being with Laurel. We're seeing his reflection, not just hearing it. Cadillac Car shows the full journey, recording, radio play, the business behind the music. When a musical is about a band or a singing group, it becomes easier to answer that age-old question. Why are they singing? And Dreamgirls always has an answer. It might be a concert, a benefit, a studio session. The musical numbers make sense in the world, and only occasionally do they tip into the musical theater fantasy. One of the best examples, It's All Over. To me, Dreamgirls is a masterclass in how to make a movie musical work. It blends performances, storytelling, and emotion in a way that feels grounded, powerful, and honest. It deserves more praise, and honestly, it deserves more attention. Anyways, darlings, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for hanging out with me as I gush about the plot of Dreamgirls. And listen, this episode could have gone longer if I talked about the looks in this movie. It is a visual feast. Like, I can't just choose one look. There's so many, okay? You can let me know what was your favorite. Have you seen this movie? Let's just go ahead and talk about it. If you do enjoy talking about musicals, Disney performances, and all that jazz, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out the posts on my channel because you get to vote about like what musical we should discuss next. It helps me know that this is the kind of, episodes that you enjoy because I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy creating these kind of episodes. So yeah, anyways, I hope that you're having a wonderful day, a dream-like day. Like, I hope that we're all being dream girls because we'll be there, yeah. All right, take care, darling.